Hello everyone. Let's continue with the poem A Thing of Beauty written by John Keats. Well, I have already discussed about the everlasting impact of beautiful objects on our mind. John Keats says that whenever we are full of sorrows, sufferings, pain in our life, these are only beautiful objects which help us to get out of such kind of pain and suffering. Beautiful objects and their memories have an everlasting impact on our mind, and the beauty of such objects, the loveliness of such objects never fades away. It always remains fresh in our mind, and whenever we are reminded of these beautiful objects, we really forget all our sufferings and sorrows. Let's see what he says in the next part of the poem. Dear students, in the previous stanza, we read that all beautiful objects of nature are a blessing for the entire humanity, for the simple sheep, for the all common human beings and all living beings. Further, he says, such are daffodils, with the green world they live in, and clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert make, against the hot season the mid forest break. So, John Keats says that daffodil flowers are blooming among the green surroundings in the green forest in the nature, and they also add to the beauty of nature, and the memories of such beautiful objects always make us happy and full of joy. Small streams with transparent water make a cooling shelter of thickets for themselves, so as to protect themselves from the heat of the sun. Clear rills means small streams. So these small streams, they run through the forests and they make a cooling shelter for themselves with the help of shrubs and bushes, and protects themselves from the heat of the sun. Mid forest break. This mid forest break refers to the green plants, ferns growing in the forest. They also add to the greenery or the beauty of the nature and become a source of happiness for us. So there are so many beautiful things like these clear rills, these daffodils and other flowers and green plants, which always make our life full of joy and happiness. Rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms, and such too is the grandeur of the dooms we have imagined for the mighty dead, all lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring unto us from the heavens' brink. John Keats says that nature is full of beautiful things like fragrant roses blooming in the forest, which adds to the beauty of the nature, and we always feel happy to behold such kind of beautiful objects present in nature. Then he talks about some other things, other beautiful things apart from the beauties of nature, such as the grandeur of the dooms. Grandeur means something grand, something very beautiful, something splendid. Dooms means death. We have imagined for the mighty dead. Mighty dead means those people who were very powerful and who laid down their lives for some noble cause for the entire maybe humanity. So he says the beautiful deeds of these powerful mighty warriors always inspire and motivate us in our lives. There is some kind of beauty associated with the deeds of these powerful warriors. Their deeds have always been beautiful because they have sacrificed their lives for the humanity. This is why there is beauty associated to the lives and death of these mighty powerful people, and we appreciate them and we draw happiness and inspiration from them. They also add to the beautiful objects in this world, and there are certain beautiful stories also that we have heard or read at some point of time in our lives, and such beautiful tales also inspire and motivate us. So he says not only the beauties of nature, but there are many other beautiful things in life, such as the beautiful deeds of people, which can be inspirational and motivational. There can be beautiful stories, legendary stories of these mighty powerful people, which always become a source of happiness and motivation for us. But he emphasizes that John Keats stresses upon the beauties of nature more than the other beautiful objects present in this world. Lastly, he says, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring unto us from the heaven's brink. He says that these beautiful objects always provide us endless happiness. Here is a metaphor used, endless fountain of immortal drink. Fountain means fountain of immortal drink means continuous happiness that we are drawing from these beautiful objects. That is the endless fountain of immortal drink pouring unto us from the heaven's brink. Pouring unto us from the heaven's brink means heaven's brink refers to heaven only, where the God resides. We believe that God lives in heaven, and God is continuously providing or adding to the beauties of nature or the beauties of the world, and these beautiful objects continuously immortally provide us happiness and joy. In this way, the source of these beautiful objects or beauties of nature is God himself. He keeps on providing or rendering such beautiful objects to us continuously, perpetually, and we keep on drawing happiness and joy just like a fountain from all these beautiful objects. And this joy and happiness is immortal, it is everlasting, it is forever. We forget all our the sufferings, sorrows, and pain and miseries of life. So in this way, God continuously keep on giving us a variety of beautiful objects through nature and through other things, and we keep on drawing happiness from them all through our lives. This is how he has brought out the theme of importance or the value of beautiful objects in our life, how these beautiful objects make us forget all our miseries and sufferings. This is all about the explanation of the stanzas. Dear students, there are a few poetic devices also in the poem. I have told you about the metaphors. There is alliteration, there is imagery also. This you will try to find out yourself. Try to find out different or identify different poetic devices, their examples in the poem, and make list of such kind of poetic devices and note it down in your notebook. This is all about this poem. Thank you.